What's up, everybody, and welcome to episode 155 of Two Amazon Sellers and a Microphone, brought to you by Solozo. And today, this is Chris. This is our favorite guest. Let's admit it.
I'm already excited.
We've had him on before, but literally, we have so much fun with Don. So, welcome to the show, Don Henig from AccrueMe. We are super excited to talk to you.
Me too, man. I didn't tell you, but 155 is my favorite number.
All right.
No.
That's right. Oh yeah, I can't believe we're there. That's
I know.
weird. It's
Congratulations.
It's been a lot of fun. We've had.
That's fantastic.
Well, we say it every time. This has been one of the best things that we've ever done, just to meet everybody. I mean, if we hadn't done this, we wouldn't have met you. And now we got to see you down in Austin at the Q4 Marketing Mastery Summit. It was amazing. That was a blast to get to hang out with you.
Oh my God, I learned so much down there.
Yeah,
it was really
it was a fun time.
Yeah,
it was great. It was great to be in person.
Yeah.
I learned a hell of a lot, and the level of people at that conference were up here.
Mm-hmm.
It was, to me, it was like the top of the top. Everybody had great information, great insights, and it was all people I wanted to meet. I thought it was fantastic.
Mm-hmm. We thought the same thing. It really was a high level speaker group, and they delivered. It was like all actionable content. I mean, that's why I think people should, if you're listening and you're not attending conferences and stuff, that it really is important for growth.
Yeah.
And networking.
Oh, absolutely.
And they could meet you if they go to something like that.
Yeah.
If you haven't met Don yet, he's a hell of a time. I'll tell you.
Oh yeah.
I guarantee you a joke or two.
Yeah.
He'll put a smile on your face for sure.
Yeah. Which is why we like hanging out with you, because we make it a lot of fun. But so let's transition now and let's talk about you. For people that are listening, I know we'd love to really dive into a little bit more of your story. You have such a unique, cool, inspiring story. And then we want to talk all about AccrueMe, because we want to know how we can use our rich uncle's money to fund our business. That's the key. We were going to call it other people's money, but rich uncle's money is way more fun.
Much better. And if I looked younger, maybe it would be other people, but
No. So tell us about you. Tell us. We can start with the whole journey. We just want to hear all about you.
All right. So I was born and raised in Brooklyn, which is always a fun thing to say. I remember when I went to college in Ohio, and being from Brooklyn, people were like, oh shit, like, oh man, and I walked the walk, man, at that point. So it was a lot of fun. There's zero fear. But I was into, I'm going to tell you a story that I think you're going to find interesting. When I'm 11 years old, I got a paper route. All right. Actually, that's when you had paper routes, paper boys. And I went out, delivered papers and whatever. And there was a contest on, selling new papers. So I went door to door. I came up with my own saying on how to sell this paper. And I went door to door to door, and I became the #1 salesperson for the Long Island Press on Long Island. There are millions of people on Long Island. So just to put it in perspective, grew my business, my little business. I had a morning route and an afternoon route. Plus I played sports. The route got so big that you put all your papers in the basket in the front of your bicycle, and it would, if I hit a bump, the whole bicycle would flip over forward because there was so many papers. That's how big it got. But I made a lot of money, and so every day before school, I would meet all my friends at the local deli by school, and I would buy everybody a Yoo-hoo or a soda and a bagel. So every morning, everything was on me, and that's just the way it was, and that's the way I've always lived, and I still live the same way. I don't worry about saving money. I worry about, let's keep growing. So I come to my father one day, again, 11 years old, and I said to him, Dad, will you take me to the bank? And he goes, why do you want to go to the bank? I said, I want to take out a loan. He goes, you want to take out a loan? Why would you want to take out a loan? My parents had no loans. They had no credit cards. They had a small mortgage. That was it. And we were, lower middle class. And I said, because I want to start a credit rating. He like, what is that? But that's where my head was I was always learning about finance at a very young age. So I went to the bank. I gave them $200, and I said, I want to borrow $200 against this $200. Okay, it's a passbook loan. So I paid it off in 6 months. Now I have $400. I borrow $400 and I pay it off and so forth. By the time I'm 16, I have, tons of money. I've got, a credit card at 16. My parents didn't have a credit card yet, and I was able to, at 17, I was able to buy my first car without a problem. But it started, at an early age. My father was in the government. My mother worked for a college, HR. Owning your own business was so far away from the way that they wanted me to go and the way that anybody in my family went, but it's the way that I went. And, I bought an ice cream truck, built that. And so, I had a great time with that and started a financial planning company, trained myself the whole bit, bought my first house, first brand new car, all that stuff. I heard about the mortgage industry starting and really all that. So I learned about it. I started a mortgage company, built it to the, one of the 2 or 3 largest in New York State, sold that, became, a mortgage banker and sold it. I came up with an idea, never been done before, to start a franchise, a mortgage broker franchise. Who does that? It's never happened before. So I literally started an entire franchise program, built it to 760 units nationwide in not long, like a year or so, year and a half, and sold that. Took some time off. Most people stay in one industry. I ended up looking at everything, and I said, I was probably like your age. And I looked at my kids. What do I like to do? I love to be on the fields with the kids. So my son was playing soccer, so I started a soccer newspaper, and a soccer publication, a real newspaper. A hand, something you hold, 32 full pages like this. I'm the only employee. I'm everything. I sold every ad. I did everything. Built it to, in 6 months, 167,000 copies a month. Jeez. And we were the official newspaper of New York State Soccer. I sold that to my partners. But I was the only employee. I did everything and made money from, the first month on. So this is something I think might find interesting, is that this is the end of the 90s. So if you can think back to that, that's, the .com boom.
Yeah.
And what are you going to do in the .com boom? And I swear to you, I thought to myself, I could just pick the biggest thing ever. It was like World War II, it was like huge. Like what were you doing in World War II? I would ask my parents and things like that. And they have some great stories. But I figured, one day my grandkids are going to say, what did you do during the .com boom? Mm-hmm. And I didn't want to say I sat on the sideline, or I was in the mortgage business, or I was doing this or that. So I got into technology and helped build 2 different companies, merge them together. I didn't own them, but I ran them. I'm still partners. One of the owners, the last thing I did was merge these 2 companies. And one of the CEOs, we not only became friends and still are, but we're also partners in a business that we started together in California. And now we run it out of Vietnam. Which is interesting. But, so that was all on technology. I was asked to get back in the mortgage industry on direct to consumer. So if you think of today, Rocket Mortgage, all direct to consumer.
Yeah.
They were my number 1 competitor. We were head to head. I built my business to the 5th largest in the nation. They were either 4th or 6th. I don't remember now. So just to put it in perspective. Then I built a wholesale mortgage company within the same business. To the 6th largest in the nation. To put that in perspective, I was doing, just in my divisions, again, we started pretty much from scratch, almost nothing. And we built it to doing about $75 billion a year, just my groups, earning over $300 million net profit. And the best part of that is I was paid on profit. I was.
Oh, wow.
So naturally it was profitable. But, then the financial, disaster hit, and the business went out. So what do? The first thing I did was I looked at, 7,000 people that are without a job, including me, but I could pay my mortgage. So the first thing I did, and I think this is a great lesson for everybody, when something goes wrong for you or in your life, go do something for someone else. So I took a chunk of money and I went to what's called a hospitality center by my church, and they take care of, it doesn't matter if they're Jewish, Christian, Muslim, doesn't matter what you are, they take care of everybody. They feed 250 people a day, and they clothe people, and it's amazing what they do. And the first thing I did was take a chunk of money, a large chunk of money, and went there and gave it to them. Because if I'm thinking negatively, if I'm thinking, I just got hurt, that's bullshit. You got to go take care of somebody else. I also went to the bankruptcy court that day, and I got them to agree to open up the building for me to come back in and work for another week, and for me to be able to hire 7 people, all on my dime. I paid in cash. So that over that next week, we were able to place 1,300 people in jobs, which I don't think I've ever worked harder in my life or did something better. Yeah, so really exciting. So anyway, along the way, I started an entertainment company out of the blue. Never did it, just started it out of the blue. And we ended up doing 8 feature-length films with the biggest name stars like Tom Cruise and Natalie Portman and Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and one after another. It was a lot of fun, The best parties of all. It was great. And we did the Broadway show, Rock of Ages. We created and produced, which was pretty cool. We ended up the 26th longest running play of all time. Amazing. So a lot of fun. So anyway, long story short, I ended up taking some time off, like 5 years. I thought I was retired. And then an old friend of mine started, talking to me about different industries, and I would help, but I didn't want to get back in. I was done. And then he mentioned Amazon, and he talked to me about Amazon sellers, and I knew nothing about it. I had no idea, but I love helping people grow businesses. I love mentoring, especially young people. So he had me hooked. So I started thinking about this, and I started looking at the lending options, since I have a lending background. And I thought everything I saw was bad for the seller. Great marketing, but not good for the seller. So we put together something that, to put it in perspective, if I was a seller, what would I want? I would want no fees. I don't want anything hidden, I would want to, like the rich uncle. I want my rich uncle. Hey, I'm not going to pay you any fees. I'm not going to pay you any interest. In fact, I don't even want to make monthly payments. Your rich uncle might throw you out of the house at that point. But seriously, I don't want to make monthly payments. I want to pay when it's right for me, not in my business, not when it's right for some lender to tell me that it's good for them. It should be good for me. When I have an opportunity to grow, I should grow. Don't tell me I need to send you $10,000 when I could put it into my business and buy more inventory and make more money. That's stupid for me to send money out of my business. So we literally looked at it like, what is it that would be ideal for an e-commerce seller? And we came up with this program. And then we went out and got funding, and we went after it, built technology. And last thing, and then I'll shut up. I have a firm belief in starting stupid. You're not going to know everything. Like if we stood in front of that room last week and said to everybody, hey, if you knew now all the stuff that you would need to know as an Amazon seller, would you have started that business? Yeah. Nobody. Not a chance. There's no way. You both have run into so many obstacles that you've overcome. You've had to learn. People call you, you call them. You learn, you overcome this, you overcome that, and there's constantly more. You become great at it, but you had to start somewhere. If you waited until you knew everything, you'd never start. So I'm a believer in starting stupid. And with AccrueMe, we literally went out with our own money and gave a bunch of sellers money. We had no system. We honestly wrote a contract the night before we were funding our first seller with our money. We never expected to make money. We never expected to get the money back, but we didn't lose any money. We made money with everybody. In fact, that first seller is still with us and still thriving and growing their business and loves us, which is fantastic.
There's so much to unpack there. Like the newspaper route, all the way up to, I don't think you're ever going to retire anymore, Don. I think you've learned your lesson. I don't think you're.
This is why we love talking to you. This is why we love talking to you. It's so much fun. I mean, I'm like, I don't know. That's inspiring to me. I'm excited.
We're gonna jump through this window right here.
And it's so
I thought I put you to sleep.
No.
I am amped up now. After
I'm
that,
more fired up than I've been all day.
I knew a lot of that about your background, but I didn't know all of it. And there's some that. So you're telling me you know how to grow businesses, I guess is the.
I've lucked out a few times.
Yeah. But man, I love the concept of just getting started. It's like, just take action, just do something. You're going to figure it out along the way. And it doesn't matter if you learn it now, it's going to be different next week, especially in Amazon. And I'm sure every other business is that way too. It's such a good mentality to have. I know Chris and I both, we thrive that way. Not everybody thinks that way. That's how our thought process is. So we fail a lot.
We all do, but that's okay. But we don't focus on that.
No, you try something new, and your whole story was you had businesses that were great at, they were the perfect business for that time, and then they became not. And you go to the next thing, and you take all that experience and move on. And I think for a lot of, especially if you're getting started in e-commerce right now, if you can adopt that mentality right now, that's huge.
Let me give you a thought on it.
Yeah.
There's something called the corridor concept or whatever. So like a hallway, right? A long corridor. So if you can think about it, there's no lights on in this long hallway. And it's like starting a business. And, you're going down that path. You can't see the obstacles in your way. You can't see that there's a log there that you're going to trip over. But you also can't see the windows and doors that are open and the hallways that are off of it that are new ways of going. So the way I always look at businesses, and I said this to my partner, Eric, when we started this, I guarantee you one thing, whatever we think this is going to be, it will be different. Because whenever you're starting a business, if you go in and you're so fixed on this is the way it's going to be, you're screwed. You've got to be able to move with the business. Look at the open windows and the open doors, decide which ones are better and move that way. And notice the obstacles and learn how to overcome them. So I always think about that corridor effect. You gotta just dive in, go down and figure it out as you go, and don't get stuck in it. This is exactly the way it has to be.
I think that's one of the things that Dustin and I got excited about in this business. It's like, we consider this I don't want to say it's a game. It's not a game. This is a business, but that's the way to look at it. Like, you don't know what's behind the door or opening that window until you actually go take a chance and figure out what's back there. And then if it's great, you got to go with it and move on. But if it sucks, you got to pivot. You got to pivot to the next day. So I think that's the thrill of this, is like, it's like a rush. It's almost like an addiction.
Oh yeah.
It's like, I can't stop because I want to know what's behind the next door.
Yeah, it's every day. You're absolutely right. It's like a rush because it's every day. It's not a day that I'm not figuring something out and learning something new. Last week with the whole thing on influencer marketing, oh my God, I'm all over that now. It's blowing my mind. It's fantastic. So,
that was one of the coolest things to hear. Just how powerful and impactful influencer marketing is now.
It's amazing.
It's unbelievable. I mean, I've done that. I've used that as a strategy before in my business, and it worked. But this was like next level of what they were doing, and it's mind blowing when you talk about
and to create yourself as an influencer as well.
That was crazy.
Holy,
that was insane.
That was crazy.
Yeah, it is. I mean, that's. To a degree, I mean, that's kind of like unintentionally when we started the podcast. I mean, when you put yourself out there and people are seeing you, I mean, that's just from that, just the awareness has been huge. But learning just ways to really make that bigger and better, it's amazing. It really is. But
yeah, absolutely.
So to touch on AccrueMe and lending, I can tell a story just for everybody. I think I maybe told this last time. I know Chris probably has a similar story.
Yeah.
But one of the difficulties in growing your business is you can't, if your product takes off or if your business takes off, you need capital to grow. It's a good thing. But I needed capital quickly when mine started taking off. And I guess, more of a traditional type loan I took. And the problem is you take that money out, you buy inventory, and you're going to be making payments on that for months before your inventory shows up. And those payments are not structured very beneficially for an e-commerce seller, where your revenue is coming in later, and you get these big chunks that you have to pay out. And so I got burned. I got burned big time by those loans. And it was a combination of, sales slowing down at one point years ago, and having gigantic payments and having to figure out what to do. And I mean, to be honest, that was I learned a lot about lending for sure there, but that was scary.
Very scary.
I had to contemplate some different options. It all worked out just fine, with a lot of hustle, a lot of phone calls, a lot of talks with creditors. Those are
negotiations. That's one thing I learned, is you can negotiate this.
And that really threw me for a loop, because I was like, that same scenario could easily happen over and over again. I mean, there's products that are successful. There's products that are slow launchers. There's products that the competition comes in and you got to kill it. And it is what it is. But the lending around it at the time was not conducive to good growth. And you came up with a genius solution. The first time we talked, I was like, this is amazing, this program, the plan that you have for growth. So explain just briefly how the program works, what the people can expect.
Sure. And you're right. It's all for growth. If you need money just to pay your bills and all that, that's not really us. We're all for growth. But I want to, before I tell you about AccrueMe, I want to come back to what you were saying. There's a couple of things there. What you did was you were faced with a lousy situation that you don't expect. You borrowed money because you have a product that's working, or multiple products that are working, and something outside your control happens. It could be, holy cow, who knows? Maybe it's Amazon shuts down all products except for PPE for 3 months. Yeah. Holy shit, what do you do then? Or maybe all of a sudden the ship that your containers are on is stuck on the water for 6 months instead of a month. Oh my God, what are you going to do? You have to keep laying out the money. Wait a minute, you also have a mortgage to pay. Wait a minute, you also have to eat. Your kids are going to school. You have all these other things that are obligations that you have to do. And now you have your business that you're expecting to blow up, but it's blowing up in the wrong way. And I've been there, and you're faced with fear at that point. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I'm just saying what for me, because I was in exactly that situation. And you're faced with terrible fear. Like, I remember looking out my window. I live on a beautiful lake. I'm looking out at it now and thinking to myself, my God, things had gone bad at one point. And thinking to myself, man, my kids are not going to grow up here. This is horrible. And I needed that fear to come up with a solution to overcome it and, to blow it out again. And I did. And luckily, my plan worked, and I was, in a bit of a hole, and I had to come out of that hole slowly. And I had a plan. By this month, I want to be back to zero. And by this month, I want to be back to, earning a net of 50 or 100 grand a month. And everything hit. But it's fear. So fear will either shut people down, or they'll fight over that fear and they'll win. So I created a little cartoon at one point. And I have it on my computer somewhere. And if you want, I'll share it with you after this. But it's basically a cartoon of people walking in to a brick wall. And the brick wall is called fear. And they're walking into this brick wall, and they're turning around and walking back. And where are they? They're in their comfort zone. And what's on the other side of that wall, called fear, is success. So how do you get to success? By climbing over that wall of fear, somehow getting through that fear, fighting through it to get to that success. And anytime you're getting out of your comfort zone, like starting a business, that's getting out of your comfort zone. That's how you get to success. Doesn't mean you'll always get to success, but that's the only way to get there. You got to get out of your comfort zone. You got to fight through that fear and get over that wall. And it's brutal. So I give you credit for doing what you did.
one thing this business has taught me that is to keep going. Like there's another cartoon where a guy's digging in a ditch or something and he stops, and right before he finishes, there's a whole like mountain of diamonds. It's like you just kept digging, you would have got the diamonds. So like
that's a true story.
Yeah, you got to keep moving along with it. I think that's what this business has taught me the most, and I'm guilty of it. It had to bring a sense of humility. Like I had a massive Amazon loan I took out, like $250K. It was an Amazon lending loan, and it was fantastic, right? But then it came time for the payments, and I spent that money the wrong way. I sourced a lot of new products instead of investing in the ones that were already making the revenue. So I spread it. I got too thin, and I couldn't pay it back, and they were taking the payment out of my disbursement. So I was not doing anything. I wasn't making any money because it was all going straight to Amazon. So that was a humbling moment. Like talk about fear. I mean, it's a hefty loan. So that's a lesson I learned. So just like you got to fight through it. You can't give up. Get over the wall, like Don said, and just keep going forward, because that's what this business does.
Yeah. So the field of diamonds, it's actually a true story. I believe it's a true story. Yeah. And I'm trying to remember who. I think it's Earl Nightingale does a whole thing on the field of diamonds, and it's basically I don't remember where it was, but literally person with a farm, if I remember, and they just like this farm was useless, and they I'll give it away or sell it for $1 and whatever. Underneath that farm was all these diamonds, worth billions and billions. Anyway, yeah. Wow. So, but it's people that don't realize what they have. But you mentioned the Amazon loan. So another client of ours had $1 million Amazon loan, and he was making a ton of money. Yeah. And all of a sudden, black hat kind of stuff had happened. Some Chinese sellers duplicated his product and stole the name, and so now he's fighting all of these battles, making any money. So he got killed, and he had to go and renegotiate with Amazon and pay it down over years, make no money. Just absolutely brutal. It's a horrible thing. So the problem with that, and the problem with all of these loans, is the monthly payment. So they're all short term. Amazon's the best of them all because it's the longest term. It's 12 months. Some of them are 4 months and 6 months. You cannot make money with that. You can't grow. It's impossible. So, the first thing from a lending standpoint, if you have a short term loan, it's great for the lender. It sucks for the borrower, in this case, the seller. And so we looked at that and we said, oh my God, I did the numbers. And so, Chris, this is probably a similar loan to what you did. And I did the number on $10,000. The monthly payment was $1,856. So you would have to pay. So if I'm borrowing $10,000, I would need to earn roughly 19% per month to make my monthly payment. Right?
Yeah.
How thick of huge? It's a big number per month. And now imagine something goes wrong. My products are stuck on the water. Whatever it is, I'm screwed. There's no way I'm going to make money. So with us, like right now, a lot of products are stuck on the water, as you know. And our guys are, not only do they not have to make monthly payments, they pay us whenever it's right for them, when they're flush with cash. But if they end up losing money, we don't earn any money. It's not like there's any interest or anything accruing or growing. They don't owe us anything. We only make money when they make money. So we set this up so that the seller can't lose. So I'll tell you, coming back to your question, Dustin. So we'll give a seller money to grow his business, her business, whatever. Interestingly, a high percentage of our clients are women-owned businesses, and minorities. We didn't expect that, but it's really worked out fantastic. We love it, and we feel good about it too. So we'll give them the money. We don't charge any interest. We don't charge any fees. We don't require any monthly payments. Again, they pay us whenever it's right for them and their business. And all we get, we don't take a personal guarantee. We literally, I remember saying that, well, what would I want as an Amazon seller? And one of the things I mentioned earlier, but one of the things was, well, let me go to a bank and say, I want a loan. And you know what I'll do? I'll sign personally. So if something bad happens in my business, you can take my house. No Amazon seller ever said they wanted that. Nobody did. No. So we don't do that. It's a business deal. It's either, we're going to do it or not, we're not going to do it. And either your business is going to make money or it's not going to make money. And if your business for some reason doesn't make any money, neither do we. End of story. So with all that, what do we get? We get a small percentage of profit share for as long as you use our money. You could use our money for 4 months, 10 months, 5 years. You could use our money to grow your business like wildfire, make no payments. And we have plenty of guys doing this right now. No payments. We have people who haven't paid us in 2 years, just to put it in perspective. And we don't ask them for money. So they grow. Now they take their little business, which is now a big business, and they sell it. And what do we get? We get our investment that we gave them. We get our accrued profit, whatever we've earned over the period of time. And they keep all the upside, 100%. We have no equity in the business. So it's an amazing thing. We set it up literally so the seller can't lose. You can't lose. And the way I say it is, think of it this way. Again, keep the numbers simple, $10,000. If you had $10,000 and you had it invested in your business, and now I'm going to keep simple numbers. You're getting 10% on your, per month. So you're going to earn $1,000 on your 10,000. Mm-hmm. And I give you 10,000. So you're going to earn another $1,000. So it's going to be $2,000 in profit. But out of that $2,000, I get 500. So what happened? You earned $1,000 on your money, and you earned $500 on my money. So basically, you earn 100% of the profit on your money, and you earn 50% of the profit on my money.
So win-win.
It's such a simple plan, and it's exactly what
it's a win-win.
It's unique.
Yeah.
It's the way lending should be.
Yeah.
A partnership. It's a partnership.
It's a partnership. So what do we care about? Everybody else is caring about your revenue because they want to take their money from their revenue. We only care that you earn a profit. That's it.
Who's your ideal client?
You.
Yeah.
I love it.
The guy says standing in front of me.
Yeah, right.
Truthfully, the ideal client is somebody who has a good business and really has the vinegar, if you will, to grow their business. They want to grow it and grow it and grow it. And they may have fear, they may not have fear, but they want to grow their business. They don't want to just, I need money just to pay my bills, or I need money for, to go on vacation. That's not us. We're for people that are, look, I have a wholesale business, a private label business, a retail arbitrage business. I don't care what it is. If you're making money and you want to grow it. So like one of our guys, a retail arbitrage guy, when he started with us, he was earning, he didn't have enough money. He was earning about $2,000 a month. 9 months later, he's earning $20,000 a month.
Jeez.
Wow.
Net profit. Yeah. How great is that? Makes you feel really good.
Yeah. It's awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool.
But that's only one. We have dozens of case studies like that. Dozens of them.
I didn't realize that you worked with retail arbitrage and all of the business models as well. Yeah.
I didn't either until, one day we said, because initially we said no, because we didn't know enough. And, I called a seller who I knew who was really big in the industry. Great. And I'm sorry if my internet seems to be like cutting out a bit. Is it?
It's all right. We'll figure it. It's good.
It cuts out a little bit, but it's okay.
All right, good. So I called a big time seller and I asked him about retail arbitrage because we had some people applying. And he said to me, look, some of them are making more money than anybody. It's not really scalable, but who cares? And well, we're seeing guys that are scaling it pretty well, like going out to closeouts all over the country to, like, I don't know how they figure it out, and buying a bunch of stuff and shipping it to Amazon, and everything's real, everything's up and up, suspensions, fantastic. So yeah, we do it all.
That's a hustle there. That's a hustle.
It's hustle.
Yeah.
That guy's he's hustling.
He's hustling.
For sure.
He's hustling for sure.
Yeah.
I did that. I mean, Chris did it too. We talked about it because we didn't know each other back when we both started our own businesses, but that was sort of the first thing that I did just to get my feet wet, is just shopped around. I was going to clearance at Walmart and like all the big box shops, and just if I found something, like Walgreens and CVS were always great. Like I would go in there and you could just clear out their clearance section and do that. So I mean, I have a lot of respect for people that put that hustle in for that, but
right,
that's a model that, I mean, I don't see that model going away. I mean, it works.
It works. It works. We actually learned to love it. We didn't know enough, but now we absolutely love it, and we love our sellers that are doing it.
I'll tell you, I wanted to touch on just two things that you mentioned, just because of, I mean, how your model works. I mean, it's very partnership oriented, which is how it should be. That's one of the interesting things I learned when I started having issues and I started having payments that I might not be able to make. I was telling somebody about it, and I'm like, yeah, I've got a problem. I've got a really bad problem. And then the guy was like, no, there's two people who have a problem. You've got a problem and your lender's got a problem. I was like, there's two people in this equation. That was sort of at that point, I mean, you're thinking, you get these calls and you think like, oh my God, is someone going to come break my legs? What's going on? He's like, there's a fear of like not being able to pay. But when you realize, hey, there is some sort of a partnership here. They need the money back as well. Yeah. Or they want the money back.
But in a lot of cases, they'll go the easy route, because I guarantee you, whether you know it or not, you signed a personal guarantee, and they'll come after you personally. They'll slap a judgment on you personally. So you're not going to get a credit card. You're not going to be able to go and do anything. You're screwed for quite a while as a result. Yeah. And they'll immediately go for your house. They'll immediately do that as quickly as they possibly can to protect. That's their job. They've got to protect their money. So in lending, you learn that if you have one bad loan, that makes up for 100 good loans or 1,000 good loans, because you make so little on each one theoretically. So, a bad loan is the worst thing in the world. That's why, from a lending standpoint, they put liens on everything. They, look for your house. They look for anything they can get to go after you. They go after you. They repossess your car. I've been in it. I've seen it. That's the theory behind it. That's what they do.
Yeah, it is.
I don't want to be a part of that.
No. That's why it's really amazing what you're doing. And I was thinking also the flip side of this, like bootstrapping it and not getting any cash flow to accelerate your business or any other people's money is almost equally as bad. I mean, I talk to people all the time that, and it's almost impossible in this industry anyway, and e-commerce, because I mean, if it takes off, your next order is going to have to be 3 or 4 times what your first order was, and there's no way you had enough profits to cover your new big order. Right. I mean, so you see a lot of people just really just slugging along, and you wanted to say like, hey, there's resources out there. You could springboard this thing quickly. You've got everything laid down except a cash infusion that would help you. And so I think that you could, it's sort of like the old school thinking, like you're talking about your parents, like they would not, I mean, it was like, don't ever take a credit card. I mean, I remember I remember being told these things, all the time,
absolutely.
Save every single penny, like have no fun, have zero fun right now. Don't do anything, and then, when you retire, you're going to be sitting on this nest egg. And I think, there's a middle ground. So I think that there's a way that I just think that that's a mistake too. And people who are in that position right now where they know they need money, but they're scared. They're trying to bootstrap it. This is the perfect solution right here.
And you're 100%. It's all about fear. They have fear, And not for anything, lending will put fear into you. And our parents put fear into us. My father would always say, save your pennies for a rainy day. And I would argue right back and say, I'm not saving my pennies. I'm spending my pennies. I'm enjoying life. I'm going on vacations. I'm buying nice things. And I'm putting money back into businesses that are growing.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm doing with my money. And when I want, it's just like Amazon, really. If you think about Amazon, remember, how big Amazon was with no profit. But remember how big Amazon got, but they had no profit. But you knew all they had to do is decide one day, we're going to stop growing for a month, and they're going to have, $5 billion in the bank.
That's exactly right.
Which is what they did. And, I remember I bought Amazon at $173.
Nice.
It was. Yeah. Well, they had just made the announcement about AWS. And so they weren't going to have any profits for a while, but I knew that they were investing in this business, in the foundation of this business, and they were going to be a behemoth one day. Nobody really knew, but it was my gamble, and it worked out okay.
Worked out all right, I'd say.
Yeah. Almost like going to Vegas.
Almost like going to Vegas.
Yeah.
That's another story. That's another story.
For another time.
I can't wait till there's another conference in Vegas and that you're at, and we'll be down to see you.
Oh my God!
In the casinos, that'd be fun. Oh man. Well,
let me just tell you, there was a little story in Prosper when at this last Prosper in Vegas. Let me just tell you.
Yeah.
At the table I was at.
Okay. Oh my
Another
God.
Story. Another story for another day.
Well, you're going to be a regular on this podcast. I can tell you that, because we love talking to you. We love hanging out with you. It's amazing. It's inspiring to talk to you.
And just the insights, not just like about lending, just like the business things that you've been through, it's good for other people to hear, because they may be struggling with some of the things that you've already went through. So like, it's just
Absolutely.
the knowledge that you bring is really, really powerful.
I love sharing it. I really do. Because I know it helps people. I know it does.
Yeah.
Which, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's also a part of the partnerships that you make with people. I mean, you're invested in helping them grow, and you're a resource for them.
It's my favorite part.
Yeah.
It's my favorite part. I love getting these phone calls from people, and, with questions about business, questions about life, whatever it might be. It's really my favorite part of the whole thing. It's all about being personal.
I never got a call from my lender.
And if you did, it was a bad one.
Where's my money? It was no actionable solution.
It's not something you want.
Yeah, no, that's a much better deal right there. So, oh man, well, okay,
all right,
we'll wrap it up. But tell everybody, how do they get in touch with you? How can they start working with you if they're ready?
Sure. So I'm going to give you two things. First, my LinkedIn, and I would suggest anybody go and check out my LinkedIn. Something just happened there. I don't know. My screen just went blank. So check out my LinkedIn. It's Donald Henig, my full name. Man, something's popping up on my computer. I don't know what is going on. But anyway,
you just fine.
You know what? It's probably the StreamYard.
Oh yeah,
that's probably what it is. So yeah, go to my LinkedIn, Donald Henig. Go to AccrueMe, AccrueMe.com, and click apply now. It takes about 2 to 3 minutes. All you're gonna do when you click apply now or get funding offer is just answer some questions. It takes maybe 2 to 3 minutes, and we'll give you a quick answer on roughly what we'll be able to give you. And then we'll ask for access to your account and all that, the typical stuff. It takes another day. It's not a big deal. And then we get on the phone with everybody and we go through it to make sure everybody's on the same page. We make sure everything is understood. There's nothing, there's nothing that's going to happen after the fact that you didn't know beforehand. And that's what we do. All right. So you ready for a final joke?
Yes,
let's do it. Yes.
Oh boy.
All right. So it's a bad accent, but so this old Jewish guy applies for a job at Macy's, and the sales manager interviews him and says, I'd love to hire you, but you don't have any sales experience. And the Jewish guy says, listen, You hire me. If I don't sell anything, you don't pay me. So the sales manager says, what the hell? I'll give the old guy a shot. He hires him. About a week later, he's looking for the old guy. He finds him in the sporting goods department talking to a customer. And he's going, and he's talking in the fishing department. So he goes, you see this hook? This hook is the best hook money can buy. Guaranteed you catch fish with this hook. And he goes, okay, I'll take one. He goes, what one? We sell these by the case. $1,000. They're walking back to the register. He goes, so what kind of rod and reel do you use? He goes, oh, I have an old wooden rod that my grandfather made me, and he gave me his reel. An old wooden rod with these hooks? Are you crazy? You need this rod and reel set over here. $3,000. They're going back to the register. So where do you go fishing? He goes, I got a place out in the Hamptons. I sit out on the dock. I have a cooler, some beer, a sandwich. It's just heaven. He goes, off a dock with this rod and reel and these hooks? Are you crazy? Sells him a $100,000 boat. Goes back, takes out his American Express, pays for it. Comes over and says, in my 25 years of being a sales manager, I've never seen such salesmanship. You took that customer from an order worth less than $10 to an order of over $100,000. He came in to buy a fishing hook, and you sold him a boat. He goes, what hook? He came in to get tampons for his wife. I said, you're not doing anything this weekend. You might as well go fishing.
Oh, that's great. I love it. That's why we like hanging out.
There you go.
That's why we like it. It's
an old one.
It's a lot of good jokes. We always have fun. You always bring a smile to our face.
You guys too.
Well, everybody listening, this is what you get as a partnership here. Come on, you got to take Don up. Use Don's money. Come on, he wants to do it. You got to use it to grow your business. But
there you go.
That's right, Don. Thanks so much.
Everybody needs a rich uncle.
That's right. And a funny uncle.
Yeah, the funny rich uncle is the best.
Even better.
Oh man, well, thank you so much.
Better.
We really appreciate it. Everyone, go check them out at AccrueMe.com. Thanks for tuning in. If you really like content like this, which how could you not like listening to Don talk? You got to know when he's on here. It's amazing. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast. Make sure you also, if you want to see our live streams, we live stream on Solozo's Facebook page, LinkedIn page, and YouTube channel. So go subscribe to those. Turn on notifications. You'll get notified when we go live. And just listen to great content like this. Chris and I love doing this because we learn from the best. So it's a lot of fun. We want you to join in with us on that. And also, if you do now get a cash influx into your business, one of the main things you got to be using it for is advertising to grow your business. And we can help you at Solozo. Advertising's complex on Amazon. There's a lot of manual work into it, and Solozo can help automate and optimize it for you very easily. So Chris and I would love to show you how we do that. You can go to Solozo.com, book a demo. We'll walk you through it. We'll talk anything Amazon. We'll tell jokes. We don't care. We love that. We love hanging out with Amazon sellers and e-commerce sellers. So hopefully we'll see you on a demo. Go check out AccrueMe. Everyone, thanks for tuning in, and we'll be back at this again tomorrow. Have a great day.
Goodbye, everybody.